Hello, everyone. Welcome to Relate to You, another episode. And we hope that this episode is one of your favorites. Well, we don't hope. We know it's one of your
one of your favorites.
It's one of your favorites because it is embarrassing stories. Yay! It's been a while since we've told our embarrassing stories.
You just need, like 2 or 3 months to recover.
Or we just needed material.
Yeah, we needed to dig deep down into memory lane.
Very deep down. So, I think there's a wide range of things that we can talk about. But how about we start with like maybe rebellious years,
Ooh, okay.
Like maybe something that, we thought it was I'm going to rebel. And then it turned out that no, it wasn't.
It wasn't. Okay.
Do you have something?
I definitely have something.
I'm
gonna give you guys a rebellious year like story from like early on when I was a kid. The first time I stole. Now, I'm pretty sure prior to this I had stolen like $1 from my mom's bag or something, but I think that this was the first time that I knew what I was doing was wrong and I still did it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in 3rd grade.
Oh, that's not bad.
It was always in 3rd or 4th grade. I was teacher's pet. And this teacher, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Boy Meets World, but he was like our Mr. Feeney. And the best way that I can explain is in the show, Mr. Feeney follows them throughout like elementary, middle school, and college, or high school and college. Obviously, they do it for casting purposes, but this teacher was our teacher 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, almost was our 6th grade teacher, and then subbed in middle school.
Oh.
He was awesome. He honestly, like, if I could ever see this teacher again, I would. Like, he was a big...
It'd be a happy moment.
Yeah, it would be a happy moment. So he loved his students. We loved him. And he always had different activities for us, like, not to say something negative about him, but the reason why we all loved him was because we didn't learn a lot education-wise in this class. It was more of like we had fun. Prior to this teacher, I was in like the GATE program. I was like in these like, I'm a smart kid. Then, this teacher came into my life, into our lives, and my grades went down. And that sounds bad, from an educational perspective, but I don't regret that season because he taught us how to live. He taught us the value of having fun, of doing activities. He was a very big, like, I don't know how to explain it, like existentialist, if I could use that word in a way. Anyways. On one occasion, he managed to get us a star lab. I've yet to really find one of these, but it basically was this like inflatable igloo. And you would go through the entrance of the igloo or the star lab. And inside, he would have this machine in a way that he could put discs of the stars. Mm-hmm. And the lights would turn off in this, star lab. And I don't know how they got the funding for this kind of stuff because it was a very poor part in the projects, but
maybe it was him.
And he would put these discs of the stars. And I remember that we would lay down in the floor and we would see the stars and he would just tell us stories. Mm-hmm. And he would talk about, Greek mythology, and that's how he would kind of like make it educational, but it was really just stories. And so we would see the stars, but then he would change the disc so that we could see the cartoon in a sense of like the outline of what the star would look like, the constellation. And so he would talk about, Hercules and Cassiopeia and Medusa and all of these, Greek mythology characters, Zeus and all of them. And we would just love, being in the Star Lab. I don't think we were there as often as I like to think, but that's how I remember we were always there. And on one occasion, he did this, activity, which doesn't make sense, but he wanted all of us to get M&Ms in our hands. Mm-hmm. So we would have M&Ms. and we would have to guess what the colors were. And then when he turned on the lights, we would always obviously be like, oh, we didn't guess the colors.
Oh, okay.
Again, that didn't make sense, but we had fun. Anyways, on that day, he had a bunch of M&Ms in the center of the Star Lab. So imagine this huge Star Lab like this, and we're all on the outskirts of the Star Lab. And all the candy is in the center of the floor. And so my friend and I were aware that the candy was there. I can't remember whose idea it was. It was probably mine. And the point is that at some point I started to go reach for the candy. And I got some and I came back sitting to where I was, and I didn't get caught. Lights are off. You can only see the stars. You can't see anything else. Mm-hmm. And so I'd give some to my friend and we'd be eating. And then I'd go again. I don't know how many times I did this, but the point is that at some point on my way there, they turned the lights on. And literally just
cut.
And I obviously came back. I have some memories where I dropped the M&Ms and some memories where I didn't. I don't know if that's because I've told this story so many times that I've made myself to believe just to make it more dramatic, I don't remember, honestly, if I dropped M&Ms, if I had M&Ms in my hand. The point is that I sat back. I almost said his name. The teacher goes into the center to see the candy is more than half eaten. There's no more candy for us to go all around for another activity or whatever. And I am just I could feel my heart beating, because remember, I was a teacher's pet. And I was like, oh my God, I've never done anything to jeopardize my relationship. Our friendship. And I remember all the kids were just kind of what's going on? He goes, he grabs the candy, and he's just like, class is over. And I'm just like, oh my God. He's like, everybody out of the the Star Lab. And I'm just sitting there.
Oh my God.
And I hear kids that are like, oh my God, who would steal M&Ms? How could she steal Mr. blah 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 blah's,
M&M.
candy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, she ruined it for all of us. I'm hearing all of these comments. And I'm just waiting for my time so that we can get up. And he looks at me and he said, and I'll never forget it. He said, I trusted you.
Oh.
And I felt the it wasn't just embarrassment. It wasn't just I don't know how to explain that feeling other than shame. I experienced shame for the first time, probably ever, because I had done other things prior to that, lying about getting jumped, lying about my teacher, locking us up, all first, second grade. For the first time in third grade, I felt shame. I felt embarrassed of why did you do that? Mm-hmm. So it was a quiet, for me at least, walk back to the classroom. And everyone is still looking at me and judging me. My friend se está haciendo como, I don't even know you. We're not even friends. She didn't even own up to it. I didn't even eat the candy. I don't know what you're talking about, And he said, Kezia, I'm going to need you to wait outside.
Oh, God.
So I said, okay. And I'm literally just looking down like this. And this is how involved this teacher was in our lives. He had my mom's phone on his cell phone. He that's how close, my mom, side note, one time called him and was like, Mr. blah, 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 why is my daughter not coming home with homework? Because we wouldn't have homework. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, because we're doing something more hands-on. And she was like, no. I've always been, she needs to have homework. And so we started to get homework because of my mom. Oh. Anyways, so the point is that he calls her. And he says, Señora Valenzuela. And she's like, sí, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó con mi hija? Algo pasó, blah, blah. Su hija se lo va a explicar.
Oh.
hands me over the phone. And she's like, mija, ¿qué pasó?
No puedo, no puedo.
I stole the M&Ms. I stole I couldn't breathe. I could not breathe, guys. I literally was like, you know when you cry so much that your head starts to like jerk? And it's like, that's how I call my mom, dude. I legit like, and I think at that point, the teacher was like, okay, let me get the phone from you. And then he explained, he's like, Señora Valenzuela, you know, cachamos a tu hija que estaba robando los dulces. My mom was like very embarrassed, obviously. And he's like, and then this is the part that was like, wow. He said, pero se puede ver que ella sabe lo que hizo. You know, like, in other words, like, don't yell at her because she already knows what she did. You know, I don't remember that part. It's blocked out. I don't remember what the, like, because I was crying. So I don't remember if other kids saw me cry.
Right.
I don't remember, like, if I went to the office. I don't remember that. I just remember getting picked up. And my mom didn't say a word. You know, for some reason we had a pillow in the car, and I literally was just like, and I like to me was like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. And for a while, he had consequences. He put someone else in charge of his stuff. He had someone else in charge of like passing out the papers. And
you weren't it anymore.
I wasn't in charge because not only did I steal from Candy, but I also had a special key to one of his drawers that had candy. And whenever the students were good, I had the responsibility of like, oh, here, you get a treat, or I had that like authority in a sense. But he gave that to someone else. Ooh. So I lost that. And I remember feeling like, man, like, I'm never going to steal again. It was not worth it. Like, to have lost my place in his eyes and in the classroom, it wasn't worth it. And to this day, aside from the pens at church,
mind you, you're not the only one.
I think I still have a lot of temor to steal. Like,
you do develop that, because I have a stealing story too, and after that, I put everything in its place, back in its places. Yes. If I'm not taking it, I didn't get it from here. Let me put it over.
It brings this fear.
Yes.
And so, it's embarrassing, but at the same time, I think it taught obviously a valuable lesson. I don't think anybody was harsh with me, for anyone that's like, oh my God, you traumatized the kid. I don't think so. I think that, he said, I trusted you, but he didn't yell at me. My mom even, she didn't hit me. She didn't, do anything when she could have, or she had in the past. Like, it was like, you're like,
they saw that you learned it. Yeah, exactly. They saw that you understood it.
In a sense, as embarrassing as that story is, I'm thankful for it. So that's my first rebellious story. What about you?
Oh gosh. I think mine, piggybacking off of you, is about stealing. Also, I think it was my freshman or sophomore. I want to say freshman, because I did it out of peer pressure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's not as peer pressure as I would like to.
Yeah, we're gonna walk away from you.
Yeah, no, it was more of like everyone was doing it.
Okay.
So I thought, why not? So I think it was freshman year, because I was still hanging out with that group of people, and every week, todas mis, bueno, no todas, pero algunas de mis amigas, la mayoría, me robé esto de Forever 21. Me robé esto de, what was it? Mervyn's? Mervyn's?
Mervin.
No me acuerdo. El chiste es que
Yeah.
me robé esto de quién sabe dónde. And so it was a constant thing of like, oh, this is what I'm sporting right now. I stole it, you know? And so for some reason, again, I'm hanging out with these people. You are who you hang out with. So one day I go to, first of all, I'm barely learning how to drive.
Okay.
So I don't know why, but I decide to take my sister to Rite Aid, and I decided to take my mom's car with me.
Okay.
And I don't know why I thought that wasn't a big deal, but I have no license. I had no permit. I just took it out. So I think Kelly was with me. I'm not too sure about the other details. But el chiste es que I go in there, I go into Rite Aid by myself. And I'm going, and I'm seeing things, todo eso. I have money. I had money to pay for what I grabbed. I stole it, but I thought it was, I don't know. I think I was excited to tell my friends I stole something. And so I just decided to steal it. I decided to take
You wanted the validation.
Yes, I decided to take the eyeliner and I put it in my sleeve,
Just
right?
a little sleeve
Yeah, I did that.
move.
But dude, I did it the most obvious thing. I looked around. And then me thinking, oh, so no one suspects I am going to buy something,
So you took yourself to the register?
Yes.
Well, así.
I'm in the registry, waiting. Así, literal así. I think I grabbed candy. I don't even remember. But el chiste es que I pay for it. And I'm already out. No sonó la alarma. And I'm like, oh my God, I made it. I'm like, I feel the adrenaline rush of like, I did something I know it was wrong.
Right.
But I'm excited to tell my friends. I'm excited to share it in a way. I get to my car, or my mom's car, and I'm about to drive off, and I think Kelly was with me, and I hear a knocking on the window. I'm like, oh, and I turn, and it's the security guy, and he says, you need to come out. I'm like, why? You stole something.
No, you got caught?
I got caught.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. And he's like, no, you did. We have you on camera. I'm like, okay. So I just get down. I go in there. They put me in this room in the back. And he says, and then I'm obviously, at that point, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in so much trouble, And I think this guy, I do think he got carried away because he started saying, I'm going to call the police. And I'm like, why? No, like, here's the money. I have the money to pay for it. Like, I'll just pay for it. And he says, no, you already did it. Like, you're already in trouble. Like, you already did it. So I'm going to need you to call someone. I called my mom, didn't answer. I called another sister, didn't answer. I ended up calling one of my brother-in-laws. He answered, and I tell him, he busts laughing. He's like, bah! And I'm like, ¿por qué te estás riendo? He's like, ¿por qué tú, out of all people, you stealing. I'm like, yes, I did it. Y ya le empiezo a decir, he's telling me that he's going to call the cops, that he's going to call the police. Like, I don't want to go to jail. I'm telling him. And he's like, you're not going to go to jail. I'm like, but he says I am going to go to jail. Y todo eso, ¿no? And then he says, I think he asked me for an ID. And I'm like, I don't have an ID. I only have a school ID. And he says, no, well, something else. And I don't know why, but he got into this like, I think he got into this, ¿cómo se dice? Like, very...
He was racist.
I think so because I think he realized that my fear wasn't just about me not having an ID or driving my mom's car, porque también hasta eso me dijo, why are you driving the car then if you don't have an ID? Do you have a permit? I'm like, no. He said, why are you driving? And so I think for him, and then he saw that he was white. And then he saw that I was kind of like no, I can't get in trouble. I don't know why I thought that me being an immigrant, and not just an immigrant, but a green card holder,
Would have worked in your favor?
no, that would have been worse for me. Like I thought I was gonna get kicked out of the country. And I think he picked up on that. I'm still not quite sure how he picked up on that. I feel like I offer that information.
No, please.
I don't want to go back to
Don't call ICE.
Perhaps. I don't know.
I've seen Under the Same Moon. Please.
My family's here. I can't go back to Mexico. Anyway, I don't know. But it's this kid, he started instilling in me fear that he was going
get deported?
Yeah, I was gonna get deported, that I wasn't just in trouble with the police. That I was just like, I mean, he made it such a big deal to the point that when my mom finally arrived, she looked at me and she's like, ¿Por qué estás así? Ok, sí robaste, pero no te pueden llevar a la policía. O sea, no te pueden llevar a la policía. Like, ¿de qué estás hablando? Y le dije, yo es que me está diciendo que que migración va a venir y que ya no voy a poder arreglar, que no voy a poderme hacer ciudadana y quién sabe qué. He's like, what? And so I don't, dude, I was scared. I was afraid. I was like,
that was traumatizing.
That was traumatizing. My mom, obviously my mom was embarrassed. And then the worst thing came, like, ¿y qué te robaste? Un eyeliner. ¿Qué? ¿Cuánto costaba el eyeliner? $5. ¡Lula! ¿Y compraste algo? Yes. ¿Cuánto costaba eso? $10. Like, it's just like, my mom was besides herself. My mom was annoyed at the ridiculousness of it. Like, she was just like,
how afraid you were.
Not only how afraid I was, because this guy obviously he instilled that much fear in me, you know. I mean, keep in mind I was 15, 16 tops. And it was, and I feel like I offered a lot of that information because it just kept getting worse and worse for me. Like when he knew about the car, that I wasn't mine, that I was driving it without a permit, that made it worse. And then de ahí, it escalated so quick that I was like, I'm gonna go back to Mexico.
Like at this point, you were waiting for someone to beat down the door and handcuff you.
Yes, no, and not only that, but I was afraid of my family members that didn't have papeles. And so I was like, no, que ni se asomen, que ni vengan.
So you thought the one eyeliner.
Yes. I thought that because of that $5 eyeliner, I don't even know if it was $5.
Everyone in your family was gonna get arrested.
Yes, and deported. Damn. And I honestly think the guy got a thrill out of it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, clearly.
I think he got a thrill out of it. My mom got there, and my sisters got there, and my brother-in-laws got there. Everyone and their mother and my family were there. And I'm just like, I'm in that corner, you know, looking pathetic, con las lágrimas hasta acá. You know, I'm probably pale at that point porque I'm thinking we're all gonna go to Mexico, but we're gonna go back to Mexico. You know, like my life, my short life at that point was like passing, like I was seeing my whole life here in US being done, you know?
Flashed before you.
Yeah, it flashed before my eyes. And then when I saw my mom and I saw her face of disappointment, and then when I explained to her what I had told her, more disappointment of like, gosh, really? And then my mom, I don't think my mom was tripping out so much about me driving the car without a permit or whatever. I think she was more upset about like, you got us all here for a $5 eyeliner when you bought something for like $10. I don't think, I think my mom was very disappointed of like, I've always thought you were smarter than this. But you weren't. But you weren't, you know? And so, and you know, we leave that place, and obviously my family being my family.
They're cracking jokes.
Dude, I kid you not. 2-3 years after that, and they were still cracking jokes. In fact, I still go to the Rite Aid, and my sister's like, "You're not gonna steal anything today?" And well, she'll say like, the eyeliners are cheaper now. Like, or she'll say, they're expensive. Now is the time. Now you can steal it. It's like, dude, what? And then the worst thing is
God.
that I didn't even like I didn't even wear eyeliner. I never wore
It was
makeup.
just to
It
steal
was
something.
just to steal something. And in my head I thought, oh, I'm so smart because I'm stealing something so thin and small. No one's gonna notice, you know. And when I was out the door, I was like, yeah, I made it. I'm so smart. I'm so slick that, you know. And so that was my successful story. And nope, I hear. And so that guy did tell me that I was banned from going back to write it for at least a year or so. Trust me, you know, I didn't go back to write it
course not.
for like 4 years after that. It was just so traumatizing.
How do you feel like going to Rite Aid today?
Now it's okay.
You're
Now it's okay.
unfazed.
But I get what you're saying. You there's an aftermath after of that, because now trust and believe that I'm not stealing anything. One, and two, I get something out of one shell and I have to return it to that shell. I have to. And I don't think it's because of like, oh, I'm so organized
I'm
and
trying to help.
I'm trying to
the
help. Oh no.
associates.
No, it's that of like the camera saw that I put it back. You know? And I need to put it back into place.
Yeah.
You know? And so
But you know what? Nowadays, with the way that rules are going for stealing, it's so different now. Now it's like, just let them.
you think?
Yes.
I don't know. I've heard stories from my cousin. She used to be a security at a store in LA. And I would hear crazy stories about, well, maybe it was her character as well, but she would go after those people that would steal.
I think it depends, but I mean, you see these videos of these people that are literally going through and stealing, and you just have people who are like, it's my life or it's the merchandise.
Oh, I see. What?
Am I
okay.
going to really fight for this? And I remember working at TJ Maxx, they had that policy.
Right. Okay.
Like, they're like, do not confront the person. You know, let the social security, let the security or the LP like do it, you know, and confront them. Pero ya de ahí, if they become aggressive, just let them walk out.
Oh, I
You know,
see.
so
I see.
but I think it's a good thing that, or maybe not a good thing, the level that you got scared, but in a sense, I do think it's a good thing that, you know, we don't.
Oh no,
we're not thieves.
I mean, obviously now I thanked God. I thank God for what happened. Yes, it was very traumatizing, and I don't. Yeah, definitely. I don't justify the way he treated me.
No,
Despite me being in the wrong, I don't think he I
he
don't
needed
think
to get to that point.
Yeah, I don't think he needed to get to that point. However, I do think had I gotten away with it, I would have done it a second time, a third time, and God knows what would have happened after that. Because that was the
This time
pattern,
I stole nail clippers.
you know, because that was a pattern my friends were going.
They only
My friends started with like something small y al rato ya era todo el outfit, you know? So I do think that it was a, ¿cómo le dicen? Una...
nip it in the bud.
Yes, definitely. Porque yeah, after that, I was like, no, I don't want to be deported.
I think today the things that I struggle with is pens. Like, sometimes I forget to put the pen back or stuff like that, you know, or, you know, yeah. Pero like that, you know, where you're actually going to take something. Stores, eso sí, I never ventured. I never stole anything from a store. I was always really scared of that because I don't know why I always felt like they were always watching me. And clearly,
they are.
they were.
Clearly they are. But anyway, do you have any other like
Rebellious stories? Yes.
Or just an embarrassing story?
I have a story of the first time I snuck into a school dance.
Oh.
I say snuck in because I wasn't allowed to go to school dances. My mom obviously was like, I know what you kids are going to do in those places. You guys don't even dance appropriately or in a God-abiding, God-fearing way.
There's no Bible distance.
There's no Bible distance, so that's not a place for my daughter. It was freshman year, and I was in French club, and I always wanted to go to a school dance. So they had homecoming, they had prom, they had, throughout that whole year, they had different, you know, dances, and the glow dance was going to be the last dance of the year. And I'm like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to this. And I remember that the French club was going to be fundraising, and they were going to sell glow sticks to people that were going into the dance. And if they participated, they'd be able to get into the dance for free.
Oh.
And so I told my mom, I have to fundraise. I have to be there. I'm not going to go to the dance, but I am required to be here y todo. So my mom is in the parking lot, and she's expecting me to be back.
Uh-huh.
And we sold out right away. And
like,
so I thought, this is my chance. And for the record, I shouldn't sell anybody out. I won't say anything. The point is, I wasn't alone. Let's just say that. I wasn't alone. I had friends. And so I had influences as well that were also kind of like, hey, let's go, whatever. So anyways, I go into the dance, and, it's, I don't know what high school dances were for you guys, but it's like literally like the music is loud, and your heart is beating. And you know what was so lame? It was so lame what I was wearing. I was wearing the most like church skirt you could think of. It was literally a lime green. You're never going to see me in lime green in my life.
Again.
I was wearing a lime green skirt that was a hand-me-down from my sister that she got at JCPenney. It's an important detail. And it had like these like Hawaiian looking flowers.
Oh, okay.
Lame. With this like white lace shirt and these white with those little bow flats. You know what I'm talking about? It's just a white flat with that little bow in the front.
Yeah.
Everybody had that at some point at Ross. And that's what I was wearing. That's what I wore to the dance. Okay. And so I go in there, and I'm just like, okay, and people are in there, and like you just see this crowd of like people in the middle sweating, and let's be real, they were dancing, grinding up on each other, and just having that kind of dance. Definitely Sin City. And I'm like, where can I go? And I wasn't with a guy. I wasn't, intentionally going.
You just wanted
I
to
wanted to see what it was like. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go to the dance and feel what others were feeling, and experience what I wasn't allowed to experience. So I go in there with my friend, and she's like, let's just get in there, and they started, dancing a certain way, and I started dancing a certain way, and it was like, we're in this. And you know what's so funny? There was this part in me that was like, I don't belong here.
You didn't feel right.
Like, not only did I not feel right, because I obviously wasn't dressed the right way. I don't know why that bugs me more than anything. But like, I looked like a church girl at a ridiculously inappropriate school dance. Okay. You see all these people dancing, and I'm trying to,
to blend in.
I have no rhythm. I have no like movement, and it was sweaty and hot, and I don't even know the songs, that I can't even sing to the songs like the other girls are singing to. And I can feel my phone vibrating. Ooh. My mom is blowing up my phone, like calling me, and I'm sweating. I'm literally just there, and I'm just like, but this is fun, like I want to enjoy this, making myself believe that I'm having fun. But I can feel like she knows I'm in here. So at some point I ditched my friend, and I'm like, I gotta go. And she's like, just stay. And I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I know I'm gonna have it, And maybe there was a part of me that wanted to leave. But for the most part, I was like, I'm gonna go. I go to the restroom, and I like, stop sweating because it was so hot in there in the mosh pit, basically. And I go to the car, and I'm like, oh, hi, mommy, sorry. It's just, they ran late. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything. And she's like, ahorita vamos a ver cuando lleguemos a la casa. And I was like, Mom, I didn't go to the dance. I just sold the glow stick. And she's like, tú no me vas a mentir.
Oh.
And I was just like, she's like, yo te llamé como 7 veces. ¿Qué estabas haciendo? Que no me podías contestar. And I was just like, Mom, I didn't see my phone. I couldn't hear it. I was too busy dealing with people. And she's like, no. Ustedes me dijeron que el dance iba a comenzar a las, ¿cómo dijo? Creo que a las 6. She's like, ya son las 7:30. You know, like, what were you doing? What were you doing? She's like, por poco yo me bajé para ir a buscarte. And I'm like, oh my God, like, can you even imagine? And she was just like, yo sé que tú te fuiste al baile. And I was like, no, Mom. She's like, ahorita vamos a ver cuando llegue tu papá. Or cuando lleguemos con tu papá. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So we get home and she starts laying down the law. She's yelling at me and she's like, I know what you were doing. You were out there with those kids doing God knows what. And like, you're a child of God. And I'm literally like, just like feeling all of the like things. And she's just like, you know, why were you in there? And so then I started like, you know, ratting people out. I'm like, I'm not the only one that was there. So-and-so's kid was there. And so-and-so's kids were there. Like, I wasn't the only one. She's like, I don't care about so-and-so's kids. You're my kid. Like, you were in there, you know? And I'm just like, man, I can't win, you know? And I think what's embarrassing about that story for me, it's part of the pressure, the peer pressure that, like, I could not say no. But I could not blend.
It was a skirt.
It was the skirt, it was the outfit, it was the music, it was like the whole time I felt like, why is this fun? Like,
But you were trying to push yourself.
yeah, because you know how like, again, I think there was a naive expectation I had. I had this very like Disney type of high school dance, you know, in my head of like
synchronized dancing,
you know, very playful. You know, you meet someone that sees you from across the dance floor and you dance with them. This was a bunch of sweaty middle school or high school kids, you know, dancing to Gasolina from Daddy Yankee. And you're literally like, I don't know how to dance to this. And so I think that's what it is. I think for me, it's like I am embarrassed that I gave in to that.
Right.
And that I gave into that and I failed miserably at it. You know, obviously it's a good thing. You know, I shouldn't blend in. I think my parents did a good job. But in that setting, even the people around me were like, yeah, you're just not it. You know, you need to leave. You're ruining the feeling here. Like, I don't know, you know, I estoy, you know, just like what? Like literally like trying to do the robot, you know? And so, yeah, I think that was it. My mom definitely, you know, grounded me. You know, she literally was like, Tomás, ven pa acá. And he was like, ¿Qué pasó? You know? And he's like, ¿sabes dónde estuvo tu hija? Estaba allí en el baile, bailando con esos chiquillos. Lo que estaba haciendo. And he's like, ay, mija, ¿cómo pudiste hacer eso? And I'm just like, I don't know why whenever she told my dad something and he would be disappointed, it was just like, oh, like, what do you have to tell dad? You know? And he was just like, no, mija, tú fuiste creada para mejor. Porque estabas en ese lugar, you know? And you're just like, I don't know, Dad. I'm weak. You know, so I don't know. I think, though I get why my mom did it, I think, I don't know. I don't particularly think there's anything wrong with dancing. Let me put a little note. Certain types of dancing.
Right.
Obviously, I, you know, I'm very for, you know, slow dancing with my husband. You know, I enjoy that on a nice Friday night when we're being romantic after dinner. But I also, like, I feel like if I have a kid, I'll be able to understand that desire of, like, you're trying to fit in. I did go to my prom, for the record, but I didn't dance because I knew how they were going to dance. So I went, and thankfully my high school had, like, other activities. And so I remember sitting there and I was like, okay, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go do something else. Pero they don't dance the fun way, you know? I think if they taught everybody, like, okay, we're all going to learn like a line dance or something, I think I'd be up for that. But yeah, so that was my peer pressure snuck into a dance, the
oh
glow
my
dance.
gosh. I don't.
But
I can't think of something that can top that. If I'm being honest, um, I think rebellious types or moments.
or were you ever like, I mean, technically you were trying to like blend in obviously by stealing and you failed miserably at it. But was there ever another time that, like, whether it's funny or not, that you were trying to do something and it's like you don't belong here? Not
Mm.
because of race or gender, but because you're a Christian.
Right. Yeah, I do think. I do think there were times like that, and I think I failed. Um, I think, but I don't think it's a. It's. I mean, it's an embarrassing story. Not so much in like, let's laugh about it. It's embarrassing as in like cringe.
Shame.
Yes, a shame. Um, my. Okay. So whenever I wanted to sneak out, you know, I would always say, "I'm sick. I need to go to the nursing office."
Oh, from school. You're
From
teaching.
school, yeah, I'm ditching. There you go. That's the word. It's ditching. And I would like, oh, I'm feeling very sick. I need to go home. I would call my mom. Mom, ¿me puedes venir a recoger? No me siento bien. Okay. Y ahí viene mom, me recoge. I go home, and everything is flawless. Everything is flawless. And obviously, 5 minutes at home, and I'm like, whoo, I'm not feeling sick at all. But I didn't do that often. It was
Wait,
just,
I'm sorry. You would ditch just to go home?
yeah. Maybe that's the embarrassing part. Okay,
And your mom.
would pick me up. Yeah, that
That's
was
not
me.
ditching.
Well, I didn't go to class, and
You sneaked out of school. You went to the mall.
no, hold on. And I was too afraid to do it the illegal way or to do it
Oh,
the
okay.
the
Like you're gonna
the
sneak out of
clandestine.
school.
Yes, like actually sneaking out of school. I was too scared of that. But my first time doing it with my friends, it was until like I think it was in my junior year, but I don't think I was with them at that point. So it must have been my sophomore. It wasn't my freshman either. It must have been my sophomore. So they're thinking, hey, we're gonna leave after whatever period. We're gonna ditch. And they're like, we are friends with the guy at the door. He knows us. We've done it so many times. Don't worry, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, I'm looking at them like, you lead the way, because I'm scared out of my wits. Up until then, whenever I wanted to ditch, I would call my mom. I'm not feeling good. Come pick me up. And ahí va mi mamá. But this time, again, because I wanted to still blend in, I wanted to belong. I'm like, yes, yeah, let's go. And I'm feeling tough, and I'm feeling that adrenaline rush of like, yes, I'm hanging out with the ed girls. Like, of course we're gonna leave, And we get there, and the guy says, I know you, I know you, I don't know you. I'm like, but I'm with them, and my friends are like, oh, she's with us, And they start joking. I'm like, it's her first time ditching. Like, look at her face. Can't you tell? And I was just like, exactly. Can't you tell? And this guy's laughing, whatever. Y ahí nos tiene. Y en eso, he looks at me kind of like, like, I feel like he wanted to be funny. But obviously, to a scared girl like me, it wasn't that funny. He's like, nah, I think you're staying. You guys can leave, but I think she's staying. And I'm not too sure if they were playing or they were like that, but they were like, yeah. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, like, what's going on, And so they're like, nah, no te creas, Yeah, okay. I was laughing. Okay. So yeah, we leave. And then he said, he opened the gate. we leave, and we're just walking around. We're just walking around, and I'm thinking, this is ditching. Like, why are we walking around? And I think at some point my friend says, "Oh, I'm gonna call my boyfriend to come pick us up. He drives, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that." Like, I'm obviously I'm already scared enough that I know they're gonna call my mom to tell her I missed this period, that other period. It was like, I think I went to 2 classes. Like, it was just like, dude, and so I'm already scared that I know they're going to call my mom. And then I got that little scared of like, you're gonna stay, not really, kind of that. And so when she starts calling the boyfriend, I'm thinking something's not right. Like, something's just not feeling okay, and I don't know why. And so we keep walking, and then she says, "Oh, he's gonna meet us right here. He's with some friends." And I'm like, "Ooh."
In a white van.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm feeling, everything in me is telling me, no, 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 no. And so finally we stop, and she's like, "Oh, they're here." And it's a car, sketchiest car. I'm like, like, yo, I don't think we fit. I don't think we fit. My friend's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, yeah, like, I mean, if he's with friends, like, I don't think we're gonna fit. And they're both looking at me like, "Dude, really? Like, really? Like, that's what you're worried about?" And then she says, they're both like they've done this for so many times. It's a no-brainer for it. Yeah, they're unfazed by it. I, on the other hand, I'm freaking out. I'm like, "Oh my God, oh my God." Like, I've never been to, like, I've never talked to guys this close. Like, I'm freaking out about a lot of things. And, like, where am I going to sit? Like, I don't want to sit next to a guy, but like, obviously I'm going to have to, porque estás, I don't know where they're going to sit. Y right. Qué. And so we're there. And dude, el guy se miraba, I kid you not, like he was
28.
Dude, he was definitely older than all of us. Like, he I want to say he was in sus, let's say, mid-20s. Like, o sea, yeah, or
he's a grown man.
Or he looked to me like a grown man. Él y los otros muchachos con los que iba. Or they were very mature looking boys. Yeah. Pero that did it for me. Cuando les miré las barbas, and I was like, I'm like, I think this is what's embarrassing or cringy for me. Literally, I kid you not, kiss. I take one look inside. I'm like, I'm gonna go back. And they're looking at me like, "What? Why?" I'm like, I'm just very scared. Like, my mom, they're gonna call my mom.
Oh, you said the truth?
That. I said that. I didn't say them. I just said, I'm very scared they're gonna call my mom. And they're like, "Yeah, but you make an excuse." And I'm like, "Yes, but like it's my first time doing it. I
it's too much.
Yes, and then they're like, they're looking at me like, "You're lame, like, you're dumb. Like, we're here. Let's leave. Like, you're really gonna go back. You're really gonna walk back." Like, that made no sense to them. But to me, that's what made the most sense. And so I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go back. I think I'm gonna go back. And they're like, and then what my friend, one of them says, suit yourself. Go back. Si te quieres ir, vete. Nosotros ya nos tenemos que ir. And I'm like, okay, váyanse. And so se suben ellas.
They ditched you, man.
Dude, they booked it. Y ya me quedé ahí, and then I thought, should I call my mom y decirle la verdad, Y no, I'm like, no, like, if I walk back, I can still make it to
your next period.
My next, like, the other periods, y así, like, it won't be that bad. Le van a hablar de uno, pero I can make an excuse for one class. Mm-hmm. Like, llegué tarde, no pasó, lista, whatever. And so I'm like, no, I'm not gonna call her. I can still save myself. I go back. I go back thinking, the guy's gonna let me in porque he let me out.
Right.
You know, like it makes no sense for him to be like, no, I'm gonna let you in, you know? He's nowhere to be found. He's nowhere to be found. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Like, oh gosh.
You're outside the gate.
Yes, I'm outside the gate. I walk back. I'm thinking, yes, my faith was all in like, the guy is going to let me in porque he let me out. He's nowhere to be found. Now I have two options. Call my mom or meterme
The office.
by the office. I'm like, if I do the office thing, then I'm going to get in trouble regardless. Like,
they're going to know you left.
Yeah, they're going to know I left. Dude, it just gets, I'm telling you, it just gets worse and worse. I decide to make a note and write and sign it like my mom. So, because I knew how to falsify my mom's signature. So I'm like, that's all I've got. This guy's not here. I actually went to another gate. He wasn't there. I'm assuming you're walking around. Yes, I'm walking around hoping that he'll be somewhere. I couldn't
So there's
find
no
him.
way to enter the school.
There's no way to enter the school. I'm thinking I might have to go all the way back through the fields and the football fields.
Yeah.
And maybe that can be my chance. But I thought I'm going to stand out. Like, ¿quién es esa que va caminando por el I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, at that point I thought the note would make more sense if I'm gonna go. Like, my resolve was, I'm just gonna go through the office. Now, how am I gonna go through the office? With that note. So I write the note. I write it in Spanish porque my mom sabía es nada más español, and I signed it, and so I get in there, and they're like, okay, why are you here? Why are you coming through here? Like, oh, my mom just dropped me off. I had a doctor's appointment. He's like, okay, and so I showed the receptionist the note, and she's like, oh, okay, fine, go to the nursing office so they can file that. And then you can go back to class. I'm like, okay, sure. I go to the nursing office, and then she says, okay, why did you go to the doctor? I'm like, just a normal checkup. She's like, oh, okay, give me the note. So I gave her the note. She looks at it, and at that point I'm thinking, she knows. She's gonna make me call my mom. I'm gonna have to say it, blah 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 blah. And I think she had grace, because she looked at it and she's like, she went like that. She says, okay, I'll file it. You can go back to class. I'm like, oh my God, yes, fine, whatever. I go back to class. I go about my day normal, like I'm thinking, oh my God, that was a close one. Like, I'm good, todo eso. I leave as I'm on my way to leave, and then I see the guy on the gate, and he's like, you made it back? And I'm like, yes, I came back. And he says, oh wow, they never do, but I guess. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I go home, and sure enough, my mom had, she had received a call. Okay, I missed whatever period. Le dije what I had in my mind. No, I was late. No me tomaron en cuenta. Yo hablo con el maestro, no se preocupe. Y le hace, ok, bueno. Y ya. Y entonces, the next day, my friends, they start talking about like all the things they did, like how much fun they had. You should have gone, y todo eso, blah, 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 blah. But next time for sure, you're not going to chicken out, blah, 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 blah. No, I didn't chicken out. Like, I was just afraid of my mom, like, and then she says, yeah, sure. And, and I know this is kind of like anticlimactic, but to me, I think the whole process of it was so embarrassing, because it was just, I wouldn't even want to say a good girl trying to do bad things. It was just,
you chickened out.
Yeah, it was just a
and you said the truth more than anything. Like, you were really like,
yeah,
I'm scared.
Yeah, like, and then the funny part is that I literally went like this to her. I'm scared. I'm gonna go back. And then they're looking at me like, wait, why are you scared? And I'm like, my mom. I'm scared they're gonna call my mom, and like I've never done this, blah 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 blah. And so I think for me it's all that, like wanting to look tough, wanting to again blend in, but having not a morsel in me to follow through. Like it was just, why am I so dumb? Like, and I felt pathetic for a little bit, Obviously as a grown woman, I realized that what I was fighting with wasn't trying to blend, well, it was trying to blend in, but it was more than anything going against my values, going against what I knew was right, and being scared of doing something that was wrong.
Right.
And so, de alguna forma, now I think of like, oh, I always had a moral compass. I always had that esa vocecita que te decía, you're not doing right.
Don't go this
Don't
far.
don't go there. So in a way, I guess I'm thankful now, pero see, I think my friends
were like lame.
Yeah, they were like, dude, you're lame. Like, you're lame. And I'm not too sure. I think obviously I never disclosed my whole stealing thing with them, but
okay.
but this is definitely after. So I think that whole, like, during those 2 years, my freshman and sophomore, a lot of things like that kept happening to me that I was just like,
you were trying to rebel,
I was trying to rebel.
And you were failing.
I was trying to not just rebel, but I was trying to show that I was just as tough, just as mean, just as, like all these things that they were, and I wasn't. And so I think, and then it finally dawned on me, I'm hanging out with the wrong crowd. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much me. I'm just hanging out with the wrong crowd. And I can't be that, I can't be all the time mean. Maybe catch me on a good one, yeah. But not like they were, not passive aggressive. I couldn't do the passive aggressiveness. I couldn't belittle others for not stealing.
Yeah.
I couldn't belittle others for not having a boyfriend. I couldn't belittle others for not having, sexual relationships at that age. I couldn't. And I couldn't even agree with that. I just thought, oh my God, they sort of glamorized a lot of that. And but deep down I was like, but that's not me. I can't do that. I can't okay that. And for that same reason, I can shame others into not having done it, that, or whatever. So in a way it was,
I think we just, I think it's fear of the Lord.
yeah.
I do think our parents, not to say that, other people don't have good parents or anything like that, but I think it's uno, because I grew up with people from church, and they had parents that loved the Lord as well, and they were very successful at rebelling. And I felt like for me, I couldn't understand why every single time I tried, I got caught. Every single time I tried to bend the rules or try to cross the line in some way, my mother was always there. I know you're talking to a guy on Facebook. I know that you are
Wasn't that when growing up, wasn't that like annoying?
It was annoying.
Right? That like, mi mamá siempre dice, tú piensas que me haces mensa, pero tú te estás haciendo mensa.
Yeah.
Y me dice, cuando tú vas, yo ya vine. Y regresé.
And it's true. It's true. My mom was always a step ahead, and I think it's because deep down she knew I'm capable of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And she just always assumed the worst. In the sense of like, I know you would do that. I know you would sneak out.
Mm-hmm.
I know you would go and try to talk to a boy even though I told you not to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, because of that, I don't think I had a very like wild, experience, with drugs and alcohol and, stuff like that. I didn't, because it's like, I know I'm going to get caught. Well, and I never ventured in drugs and alcohol because I always thought I was going to die.
And as clearly stated, you're deadly afraid of death.
Which leads to my last story about the time I got high.
Oh.
So I was in high school, and I remember that I really had to go to the restroom. Really had to go. And this guy who was famous for being, the stoner in my class. He was coming out of the girls' restroom.
Oh.
Because there was no one there for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, oh, I was just in there. And he's literally like, you can smell the marijuana in his clothes and everything. I don't know where the teachers were. I don't know why, he managed to get away with it. And that was the only restroom that was open at the time. And I said, I have to go. I have to go. Because, see, here's how my brain worked. If I don't go, then I'm going to hold in me having to go to the restroom. And it's going to surpass the time I can hold it in. So then it's going to get in my bloodstream. And it's going to poison my body and I'm going to die. So that's option one.
Why? Why?
And so I got to go and bear it.
Oh my gosh.
So I go in there and I walk into the thickest cloud of marijuana smoke that there was, and I'm going as fast as I possibly can. Just going. At some point I couldn't hold it in. I was like, no. And I was like, I'm high.
No puedo.
And I'm all like, oh my God, like what's going on? And I'm, obviously I finish what I'm doing and I try to get out of there as fast as I can. I'm just like looking out, and I'm just like feeling my heart as I'm walking. And it was after school. Now I know why there was no one there. It was after school. And I go get picked up by my mom. I was like, Mom, I think I'm high. I think I'm high. Like, I just went to the restroom. Like, this boy, he had just, smoked marijuana. And I try to hold it in. Like, I try to hold my breath. And now I have a headache. And I thought that meant I was high.
Oh,
like, the fact that I had a headache. Like, it was me. Like, I never got high. I didn't feel a reaction. But I was, like, taking myself there. And so I thought, like, memory loss. THC has memory loss. I was Dwight, and I was like, oh my God, like
Mom, ask me questions.
Like what's going on, and I'm like, that is so embarrassing. Like, I literally like, I don't know if there was anyone in the restroom, but I was talking to myself. Like, I was literally like, whoa, like, am I okay? Is this real life? Like, I think I wanted to be high. I'm not going to lie. I think I wanted to be high to say, like,
I was high.
No, it was more of like someone else caused me to be high. It was so intense that, like, I didn't want to, but it just happened like that. And obviously, my mom calmed me down. She's like, you're fine. You're not high. It's just the same thing as if you're passing by and you smell the effects, because there's no drug, it's just a little cloud of the residue smell, and that's it, and I was just like, Mom, but like I couldn't hold it in, because how you say that we're not supposed to hold it in. I went, and so it was like, oh, like I think about that and I'm like, again, similarly, as far as like, man, you're pathetic, of like that is what, at the level of like
innocence really.
And just like, I'm not gonna break the rules and I'm not gonna venture out. Obviously, we're adults now and we've grown from our rebelliousness and our life those years, but it's interesting to see how high school us or middle school us or elementary us dealt with a lot of the things that we grew up with. So comment your,
I have a it's not rebellious, but I
you got high?
No, I remembered in Is it rebellious? I don't think it is. But I'm in college, right? My first year in college. I graduated high school. I'm in college. I'm driving. Yes, my mom's van, but I'm driving. I'm feeling this rush of like, yes, I'm an adult. Like,
Independent.
I'm independent. I wasn't working, but I felt like I had money. Like I was like, yes, I can pay for my lunch and stuff like that. And I remember that. Uh, I don't know. I how do I say this? It wasn't out of rebellious. It was more out of like feeling this high of I'm independent. I'm in college. I'm an adult. And like sort of like I don't need my mom. Like I can do this by myself. Like come on, dude.
Yeah.
And so I think it's not even like college classes. I think it's what do they call it before college is before you take classes. It's like orientation.
Oh, okay.
Orientation. I think it's orientation, and it's the chance for us to like get in line to buy books or rent books or whatever. And I'm like, yes, I'm here, y todo eso. And I think back then I was trying to get in this program EOPS,
Okay.
where they help you to fill out FAFSA, they help you to do all these things, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do it by myself, blah 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 blah. And I'm there trying to fill it out, and they're asking me for information, personal information, and I have no clue.
Like your social?
Yes. Like my alien, because I'm an alien, my alien immigrant number, no clue. My taxes, I don't know what that is, and I'm going through the, like, what's going on? Like, I just know my name and my date of birth.
You should be able to find me with that.
And I'm like, okay, and I keep going down the list, and they're asking questions that I don't know when was the last time I went to the hospital. Like, I don't know, and then I don't know my mom's birthday. Like, I know it's November. It's in November, the 24th. I don't know what year she was born. And I'm going through the questions, and I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. So, Ma, ¿qué pasó, mija? ¿Puede venir al colegio?
You didn't even ask her the questions? You're like, can you just come?
Like, ¿Puede venir al colegio? ¿Por qué? Y tráigase sus taxes. Y le hace, oh, ok, pues. ¿Pero para qué? Dije, es para que me ayude a aplicar para FAFSA. Y le hace, ¿tú no puedes? Y yo, no me sé mi social. Y le hace, Lula. Y tampoco me sé mi alien number. Lula. ¿En qué año nació? ¡Lula! Y yo, ¿puede venir o no? Sí, ya voy. It's like, oh my gosh. And
To this day.
I do not know my social. You ask me my ID number, no clue. You ask me my license plate, no clue. I do know my phone number. But anyway, and my mom's phone number. Anyway, she gets there, and sure enough,
She fills it out.
she helped me fill it out. I typed it though.
Let's.
Yes. Thank you. But the whole situation was hilarious to me, because it's like I get there and I remember that morning mi mamá me dijo, si quieres yo te dejo. Porque yes, I had been driving, as previously stated, when I took my mom's car. Pero I think that was the first, like, I would always drive just to high school and back, just to Rite Aid and back, But that was the first time that she allowed me. I went to Ventura College. She allowed me to go all the way over there and,
Come back.
and come back. It was one of those things like, please, mom, I'm an adult. Like, come on, let me, sort of thing. And so in the morning, I was like, no, mom, I got this. Dude, what? Like, I was even offended by her, like, saying, I'll drop you, like, I'll take you and I'll pick you up. I was like, no, why? Like, I can take the car, can I? And I had this air of like, I don't need you, dude. Like, I'm it. Like, I know my stuff, and everything. I was already like, I know my class, like I know these books, blah 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 blah. I get there, I have no idea about the most basic things of me, you
Yeah.
know. And like I mean, there were questions in there. There were health questions, and I was like, Mom, ¿usted sabe? What do you like? Dude, my blood type. I was
But
like,
I don't know my blood type. I can tell you
okay,
that
bueno,
to this day.
pero like things like that. It was just, you know, I would look at my mom like,
But I think it's one of those things. It's like it's the first time that you are put in a situation where you are like tested to be an adult. I think when we bought our house, I can honestly say I felt like a child. When Joel was at the hospital and I had to speak for as an adult, as his wife, the first time I went to the doctor by myself and I didn't turn to the right and what's wrong with me? You know, like
me duele.
que me duele. So I think that's what it is. I think like, the first time I did my taxes as a married woman, like there were things that like there's these phases of like
Right.
you go
Right.
to the first time I had to call an insurance company, or nowadays it's starting to become more and more repetitive. And I think there's a part of me that dies of like, why do I know this? I know I know what PPO and HMO means.
No.
And there's a difference, But I think that's what it was. I think, in a sense it's like, the good thing is that you have your mom, and that she was
Definitely.
able to
Definitely.
like step
And
up
I mean,
and be there for you and answer those questions.
yes,
'Cause-
and to be honest, I think, without sounding snobbish, but I blame my mom. I blame my mom because, man, God bless her soul. She's always there. She's always there.
right.
And so, because she's always there, de alguna forma, I do feel like I have a huge blanket. And a lot of things, I don't.
You don't develop it in a sense.
Yes, I don't like. No se me hace como like, oh my God, like second nature. No, like, no, my mom sabe, I think, Mi carro, another thing. Si mi mamá no lo chequea del aceite y todo eso, I have no clue que necesita. Or if my mom asks me, like, ¿tiene aceite? Y yo, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like, las llantas les hace falta aire. I don't know. Like, and I always look at her like, dude, why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me? Like, you do it in a way. And so I do think, but I would say this: out of all my sisters, even my youngest, in that sense, I'm the most sheltered. I'd say I'm the most like, babied. Yeah, I do think my mom has. I don't want to say a or a soft spot for me, but I do think she takes care of me very differently than she does with my other sisters. Now, could it be because I'm lacking in certain areas? Yes, maybe. But I do think that because of it's a constant like cycle. No, I'm so reliant on her and so dependent on her that she doesn't stop being there for me.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you like it. I think you
definitely.
like being baby. I think that's the truth.
I
And
do.
I personally am of the mindset of, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, or I mean, I shouldn't say unfortunately, there are people who still bring that into their marriage, but you should not bring that into your marriage.
Right.
And, now as a married woman, mommy, can you come and fix this?
No,
for
pues
me?
no.
But I've told you this before. During the pandemic, man, I went through a grieving process because not only was there a pandemic, but I had just gotten married.
Right.
And like you, I was very dependent on my mom for everything, She's even mentioned it like, hermana, hasta yo le lavaba la ropa, and I'm not proud of that, I'm not proud of how much my mom catered to me. Details I will never reveal. But at the same time, I'm proud that when I had to step up, I stepped up. So I think that's all the main thing.
Yeah.
Right now you have your mom. You can rely on your mom. You can, nuzzle up and be like, Mom, can you help me? But when the time to step it up, Lula, you're going to step it up and you're going to be like, this is my social. This is my member or my alien ID. This is my insurance card, you know. Here are my
I
taxes.
sure hope so, dude. I sure hope so. But
Como que I sure hope so? I am. What do you mean I sure hope so?
la verdad que es, no sé por qué, pero ok, no se me olvidarán otras cosas, pero cosas así, like,
No se te van a olvidar.
ya, no se me van a olvidar.
¿Sabes por qué? Porque si se te olvidan como las cosas a mí se me olvidan, tú vas a hacer cosas para prevenir. So you're going to have a little folder, which I might even buy you and customize with your little name. And you're going to put your social and your birth certificate and all your stuff. So whenever you need it, you're going to get it. And then you're going to scan them to your phone. So whenever you have a call and you need to say your social and you forgot, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
There's ways.
Start doing. Yeah, when there's a will, there's a way. So
I have faith in you.
I'm going to have faith in me as well. Please check on me in a couple months
Pray for Lula.
if I've learned my social at least, my last 4 digits. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. It was a bit longer than usual, or maybe just as long as usual.
If you lasted this long, comment below.
Yes, please.
Comment below. And since we have so few subscribers, we'll double your likes. I was going to say, I'll give you a $5 gift card, but no. I'm not gonna
We're still not there yet.
We're not there yet. Follow us on Instagram and maybe that thing will change. But anyways, like and subscribe and catch us on our next episode. We're going to have special guests. And so we'll see you guys then.
All right. Bye.